they'd be really tough to deal with. But since they don't, it's pretty easy to resist the intimidation attempts, especially in a group.
And they just sit there and just like, oh, well, you got me. They'd like quite literally pull a swiper, no swiping, swiper, no swiping. Oh, man, and it just off. No, it's not. This video ain't sponsored by nothing. But ladies and gentlemen, we're back with more animal content. Sage Geographic, the dog tier list. That is not sponsored because ain't nobody paying me.
Play of the game.
That's so weird to me. My friend today randomly crashed out on Rivals and got on Overwatch. What the f? That just freaked me out. Chat, I'm not going to pause for this. Yes, I am, just because I want to have the conversation, get it off real quick. Chat, hot take, cold take. Hot take, every Rivals character compared to their Overwatch variant is at least twice as powerful. And that's not biased for Marvel players. If anything, I'm more nostalgic for Overwatch. I'm just telling the truth. Every character, the only exception is literally Widow to Black Widow because Widow is a one-shot character in her prime. Every other one, not even close.
I've made it pretty clear that I see house cats and domestic dogs as top tier.
They were in Overwatch,
but although I've made videos already on the non-domestic felines, I haven't done the same for canines yet. Canines are some of the most successful builds ever, despite being relatively new to the competitive scene. They debuted in the Oligocene expansion, but they really hit their stride in the Miocene, because the devs nerfed the dominant herbivore factions that had previously been untouchable. Canines had great matchups against the new, less tanky herbivores like deer, cows, and horses, and so canines were able to expand from North America and become a part of the meta on every single server other than Antarctica. But enough about the patch notes, let's get back to present day. All canines may seem similar, and they are, but there are some awesome, unique attributes and abilities that are worth discussing.
Alright, parlay for dog. Who's gonna be the top dog? Who's gonna be the big dog? Who's gonna be the top dog? I'm trying to think. Because cats are easier because like lions and tigers are more popular, but who is like the dogs? Who are the dogs? Domestics? Domestics are going to be up there if he had house cats up there, true. I don't think a wolf is going to be up there. Wolf, no way the wolves are top tier because they have to be in packs. I cannot think of like the dogs right now. But watch this video and be like, oh, shit, those, duh.
As well as some misconceptions worth dispelling. So without further ado, let's get into it. So one of the key components to a successful canine build is team play. Hunting in packs and having a defined social structure turns what normally would be a pretty average build into a truly dominant one. And so the dogs that are the lowest on the tier list are of course going to be the ones that don't do this or do this poorly. At the bottom of the tiers, we have
at that point, wolves will be up there.
Have the maned wolf. Now it's hard to look at this build and not think, wow, that's really cool. The maned wolf is the tallest canine in the current expansion, which gives it a bonus against stealth because it can see over tall grass. It's also the only one with a mane, a rare attribute that's usually only seen on lions and horses. And while manes do provide some protection against critical hits, it doesn't do much else. The maned wolf is also the biggest outlier of the dog faction in that it has a completely solitary playstyle. As a result, it doesn't have near the same PvP potential that the more social dogs do. Despite being the tallest of canines, it has to settle for hunting small targets. Since those aren't a very good source of XP, it actually has to make up for it by eating a lot of plants and fruit. It's good that it's omnivorous, as being able to function as a scavenger is great. But there's no ignoring that this build could have a much higher potential if it utilized team strats. One step up on this list and we have the Coyote, or for the non-American players, the Jackal. A build that honestly just needs a slight buff in order to be really strong, but at the moment isn't in the greatest spot in the meta. Even with solid team plays, Coyotes just don't do enough damage to score eliminations on targets that aren't already super weak.
A lot of you said, oh, you're cooked, we fought a Coyote. I was like, a Coyote 101? Granted, if you ain't done a push-up a day in your life, I understand it, but I'm not going like that. That leaving with something for sure. He gonna bite the shit out my arm, my leg, or something for sure. But some people believe that. Yes. Oh my God, we have videos dedicated to this, bro. Literally, and I'm not getting on you when I say this. Literally, some niggas out here, you could name any animal on the planet in a 1v1 they think they're losing. It's insane, bro. I'm not saying humans are him or him and beating up gorillas, but my God, the amount of in those streams prior to watching those videos that would sit there and tell me, hey, yeah, dog, you're cooked by this domestic dog. You're cooked by a coyote. What? gives a fuck about a weak coyote?
For example, in this clip here, we can see a team of coyotes diving on this low-level deer player, but they're actually unable to get the pick before the rest of the deer team rallies and chases them off. If coyotes were to spec into some longer, more dagger-like teeth, I could see them being better suited for this, but for now, they just aren't threatening enough. They tend to have equal or possibly favorable matchups against lynx and bobcat players, but lose hard against cougars. So I think this puts them at the high end of D tier definitively. One step higher and we've got the fox. Now I know most of us are used to seeing fox at the top of most tier lists, but in outside they're a lot more balanced. They have extremely similar base stats to coyotes, but also have a few unique abilities of their own. They've got extremely strong
This reminded me of like Ninetales. Fuck, I want to play Pokemon. Fuck, I want to play Pokemon.
Perception abilities that allow them to deal with stealth strategies employed by their targets. And their precision pounce attack is extremely useful for picking off targets that they discover hiding under the snow. Some foxes have also spec'd into climbing abilities,
fox
which
mains
is
in
really
Smash.
useful for
Yeah,
getting
now
out
I'm on
of
a
reach
nerd
of
bit.
more powerful players. While their higher agility can help them avoid land predators, their smaller size does make them a target for raptors, so it's a bit of a trade-off. Coyotes and foxes both utilize team play, but in a very disorganized fashion. Unlike the higher tier builds, they don't have an established pecking order or coordinated strategies. They sort of just band together and use numbers to their advantage. Sort of like social spiders, which I cover in my spider video.
Ew. I don't even have arachnophobia, but a spider tier list, you're just gonna see some nasty ones, bro. Like, ain't there that one spider with that fucking buck tooth? Butterman with the tooth! Yo, y'all really might get that 2000. Y'all really might get that cooking stream, bro. Oh yeah, by the way, there's a race. There's 3 requirements for the cooking stream. The anime channel hits 200K, the Slept on Stage hits 20K, or the Twitch hits 2,000 subs. Twitch low-key putting belt. I'm surprised. Bucktooth spider? Nah, I gotta show you. You're gonna think I'm lying. Yeah, like these motherfuckers, bro. Like I'm not. Yeah, nah. I seen it. You gotta see it. These motherfuckers, bro. Dead ass, bro. Them is nasty. Like, yeah, bro.
Next up, we've got the wolf. The wolf is one of the cornerstones of the forest meta and pioneered the technique that most pack hunting builds use today. The wolf hunting technique has been dissected and analyzed to an incredible degree. So here's a rundown of the strat, plus a few tips on how to counter it.
So yeah, we were wrong, or I was wrong, in the sense of he is giving points to the fact that if you work well in packs, you're just a higher tier build in general. I thought it'd be like who can do their like solo spec, solo verse thing. But if he's crediting teamwork, okay, then there we go.
The basic wolf strat is a 5-step plan that utilizes every ability in the wolf's arsenal, and it goes like this. Step 1 is locating the target.
Nice.
Wolf players will use perception abilities like smell, sound, and footprint tracking to locate a potential bounty. Once found, they gather the pack and move on to step 2. In step 2, all wolves go into stealth mode and attempt to get as close as possible to the target without alerting it. Once the target detects them, they move on to step 3. Step 3 is the defining moment in the hunt, and the success depends on what the target does here. Once the target detects the wolves, it can either charge, stand, or flee. The wolves will only proceed to step 4 once the target flees. If the target chooses to stand its ground, the wolves must use intimidation abilities like growling and barking in order to reduce the target's resolve. If the intimidation succeeds and the target flees, step 4 is triggered. Step 4 pits the mobility stat of the target against the mobility stat of the wolves. This step is also when the wolves will attempt to isolate the target.
Oh shit, allergies kicking in. Oh hey.
Hi, I'm Empress Mirai, and did you know that Sage hasn't had a hug since 2nd grade? And you're watching TSO Sage.
If the wolves manage to catch up to the target, the final step begins. Step 5 is the actual attack. Wolves rely on their bite move to inflict damage, and the size of their target determines where they'll try to land a hit. Against midweights, wolves will go for a crit by attacking the throat. If this succeeds, it should result in a one-shot kill.
Being said, like when people talk about fighting like wolves and shit now, those are the ones where a coyote, lol. But wolves is like, okay, I see why some of you guys don't have the confidence, because if that nigga bites your neck, my nigga, you are dead. like you did die. Therefore, don't let it bite your neck. Like, you're gonna have to get your arm up, twin. But yeah.
Heavies, they actually won't go for a crit at all, because heavies can one-shot wolves if they aren't careful. Going for a crit puts them in range of an attack, so usually wolves will opt to attack the hindquarters since it's safer. Since they can't crit by attacking the hindquarters, it generally takes 3 successful bites in order to deal enough damage to inflict the bleed status effect. This drains the target's stamina and health over time, eventually leading to a game over for them. It's awesome that wolf mains have made their strategy guide available to new players, but doing so also allows players to learn the matchup and develop counterplay
Pittsburgh
options.
in the holidays?
Here are some of the best ways to combat the 5-step wolf strat. The first is to spec into some high-level stealth abilities. Wolves actually have a relatively weak sense of smell, so camouflage is actually really useful against.
Oh, what the fuck? So they hunt with their sense of smell, tracking, or sound, but they sense of smell isn't even that strong? Sound kind of sorry, huh? So, I'm playing!
A good stealth player will be able to stop the hunt at step 1. If stealth doesn't work with your build, you can stop the hunt at step 2 by detecting them during their stealth phase. Strong perception abilities will easily cause the wolf's mediocre stealth to fail against you. For example, wolves would pretty much never be able to successfully get within a dangerous range against a giraffe. But if they do manage to sneak up on you, the most important counterplay option is to stand your ground. Wolves will only move to their attack phase if their target opts to flee. A player who opts to defend drastically increases their chances of success, since the wolf's only option at that point is to use its rather weak intimidation abilities. If wolves had access to roar like lions and tigers do, they'd be really tough to deal with. But since they don't, it's pretty easy to resist the intimidation attempts, especially in a group.
And they just sit there and just like, oh, well, shit, you got me. They'd like quite literally pull a swiper, no swiping, swiper, no swiping. Oh, man, and it just fuck off. Nice. It actually kind of tracks, too, because my dog, piece of shit, fuck tot. I know on the internet not supposed to say that. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all ain't met Taz, bro. Oh, God. I love my dog. That nigga a piece of shit. That nigga. Oh, man, I hate Taz. Taz the type of dog. He's smaller than this glove, chat. He the type of dog, smaller than this glove, mind you. He'll just go one-on-one with a pit and think he'll win these, bro. That nigga, and then when the pit bounced back and the pit barked back, he out of there. So that nigga, I guess I see it now. Yeah, all he tried to do is do some scary shit, and when it don't work, runs away. I see it. I actually see it.
In fact, a heavy player can end the encounter pretty quickly by using their own intimidation abilities.
And I'm speaking from experience. The nigga literally has started fights with other dogs I've had to break up.
Like charge. So even though wolves do have a pretty solid offensive strategy, players with good fundamentals and matchup experience will be able to thwart their plans most of the time. And so wolves, much like birds of prey, function as the gatekeepers to the higher tier, and are placed solidly in A tier. The highest ranked canine build, other than domestic dogs of course, which I've already covered in another video, is the African Painted Hound. Wow. This build follows a very similar strategy to the wolf, but has stats and abilities much better suited for it. Its higher stealth allows it to get closer before being detected, and its higher speed reduces the chance that its target outruns it. Their sharper teeth deal more damage.
So it's literally just a better wolf.
And their highly sophisticated social structure is actually built around propping up the weaker members, rather than simply funneling the best loot to the highest ranking members. Considering that these players succeed in a meta that contains some of the most powerful builds in the game, it's tough to deny that African Painted Hounds are top tier. If you'd like to learn more about how canines evolved to become...
Okay, so I would assume a hyena's a cat. Ow. Oh shit, duh. I had to think about it for a second. Like the Lion King. Duh. What the fuck, Sage? See, we need more tierzoo. Take care. Stay blessed. What the dog doing? Shout out to the dogs. Let me know what your favorite dog is. Let me know if your dog would probably eat Taz, LOL.